A buzzing tale of pollination and hard work. Once upon a time, in a lush meadow surrounded by trees and wildflowers, there lived a busy community of bees. They spent their days buzzing from flower to flower, collecting nectar and pollen to bring back to their hive. One day, a young bee named Buzz was out collecting nectar when he noticed that many of the flowers were beginning to wither and die. He asked the older bees about this, and they explained to him that the flowers were not able to reproduce because they were not being properly pollinated. Buzz was curious and asked what pollination was. The older bees explained that when bees collect nectar and pollen from flowers, some of the pollen sticks to their legs and bodies. When the bees visit other flowers, the pollen from the first flower is transferred to the second flower, allowing it to reproduce and create new seeds. Buzz was fascinated by this process and decided to learn more. He visited the queen bee and asked her to explain how the hive worked. The queen bee told him about the different roles that bees played in the hive, including the workers who collected nectar and pollen, the drones who mated with the queen, and the queen herself, who laid eggs and led the hive. Buzz was amazed by the complexity of the hive and the important role that bees played in the natural world. He decided to share his newfound knowledge with the other bees, and soon the entire hive was buzzing with excitement and curiosity. The bees began to work even harder, collecting more nectar and pollen than ever before. They made sure to visit all the flowers in the meadow, pollinating them and helping them to reproduce. Soon, the meadow was bursting with new life, and the other animals in the area began to notice the change. The bees had not only helped the flowers to thrive but had also helped to support the ecosystem as a whole. The other animals realized how important bees were to the environment and began to appreciate their hard work and dedication. And so, the bees continued to buzz around the meadow, collecting nectar and pollen and pollinating the flowers. They knew that their work was vital to the survival of the natural world and took pride in their role as the busy, hardworking bees of the meadow. Finding your way home. A sheep's journey of courage and resilience. Luna was born into a large flock of sheep, and she loved nothing more than running and playing with her siblings. But as she grew older, Luna began to feel restless. She longed to see the world beyond the fields where she grazed. One day, Luna decided to sneak away from the flock and explore the nearby woods. As she trotted through the trees, she marveled at the sights and smells around her. But soon, Luna realized that she was lost. She wandered for hours, calling out for her mother and siblings, but no one answered. As the sun began to set, Luna started to feel scared. She had never been away from the safety of the flock before. Just when she thought all was lost, Luna heard a familiar voice calling her name. It was her mother, who had been searching for her all afternoon. With a bleat of relief, Luna ran back to her mother's side. From that day on, Luna never strayed too far from the flock. But she never forgot the adventure she had in the woods, and she always encouraged her siblings to explore and learn about the world around them. And so, the little lamb named Luna grew up to be a wise and curious sheep, beloved by all the other animals in the field. Discovering the hidden talent of pigs. The truffle hunters. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived a family of pigs. They were happy and content, spending their days playing in the mud and frolicking in the fields. One day, a wise old owl visited the forest and gathered all the animals to impart some valuable wisdom. The owl said, "Dear animals, life is unpredictable, and you must be prepared for whatever comes your way. You must be resourceful and use your talents to your advantage. The pigs were curious, and they asked the owl, "What talents do we have?" "We are just pigs." The owl replied, "You may not know it yet, but you have a unique talent. You have the ability to sniff out truffles, a rare and valuable fungus that grows deep in the ground. People will pay a lot of money for truffles, and you can use your talent to your advantage." The pigs were excited and set out to find the truffles. They dug and sniffed, and soon enough, they found a large batch of truffles. The pigs had never seen anything like it before, and they were thrilled. They took the truffles to the local market, and people were amazed at their find. The pigs became the talk of the town, and soon enough, they had more money than they ever dreamed of. But the pigs didn't forget the owl's wise words. They knew that life was unpredictable, and they needed to be prepared. So, they invested their money wisely and saved for a rainy day. And sure enough, one day, a fierce storm swept through the forest, destroying everything in its path. The other animals were devastated, but the pigs were prepared. They had saved enough money to build sturdy shelters and provide for their family and friends. From that day on, the pigs were known as the resourceful animals of the forest. They had used their unique talents to their advantage and had come out on top. And the other animals? Well, they learned that it's never too late to discover your hidden talents and use them to your advantage. The amazing talents of Snowflake. The smartest chicken in the world. Once upon a time, in a beautiful countryside, there was a small village called Featherdale. The people of Featherdale were known for their love of chickens. They would raise chickens of all different colors and sizes, and the villagers would often hold competitions to see whose chicken was the prettiest or the most talented. In the center of the village, there was a large chicken coop that housed the most magnificent chicken of them all, a beautiful white hen named Snowflake. Snowflake was not only the prettiest chicken in Featherdale, but she was also the smartest. She could count, spell, and even play chess. One day, a group of travelers passed through Featherdale and heard about Snowflake. They were amazed and wanted to see this incredible chicken for themselves. The villagers welcomed them and showed them Snowflake's talents. The travelers were so impressed that they offered to buy Snowflake for a large sum of money. The villagers were tempted by the offer, but they knew that Snowflake was more than just a chicken, she was a beloved member of their community. They refused to sell her and instead decided to share Snowflake's talents with the world. They began hosting events and inviting people from all over to see Snowflake's incredible skills. Soon, Featherdale became famous for Snowflake, and people came from all over to see her. Snowflake was happy to perform for the visitors, and the villagers were proud to share their special chicken with the world. And so, Snowflake lived a long and happy life, loved and adored by all who knew her. Her story became a legend in Featherdale, and her legacy lives on to this day. The Wise Cow. Once upon a time, in a small village in the countryside, there lived a wise old cow named Bessie. Bessie was a very special cow, as she had lived on the farm for many years and had seen and experienced many things. The other animals on the farm looked up to Bessie for her knowledge and wisdom, and often sought her advice. Bessie was always happy to help and share her wisdom with others. One day, a group of young cows on the farm came to Bessie and asked her why humans milk cows. They had heard from some of the other animals that humans used cow's milk for many different things, but they didn't understand why. Bessie thought for a moment and then began to explain. She told the young cows that cows produce milk to feed their young, just like humans do. However, cows produce much more milk than their calves need, so humans began to use the extra milk for themselves. Bessie explained that cow's milk is rich in nutrients like calcium and protein, which are important for humans to stay healthy and strong. Humans use cow's milk to make many different dairy products like cheese, yogurt, and ice cream. The young cows were fascinated by Bessie's explanation and asked many more questions about cows and the role they play in the human world. Bessie was happy to share her knowledge with them and help them learn more about the world around them. And from that day on, Bessie became even more respected on the farm, as the animals recognized her for her wisdom and knowledge. They knew they could always count on her to provide them with the answers to life's many questions.